is Hip Hop Live, and I'm Kiana, and this is Joie.
Trying to figure out which way to go, and my peers didn't help but stood around for a show. Came to school every day feeling low, but I would never cry cause sadness I never show. No.
Joie, when did you start rapping?
I started rapping when I was about 3 years old, watching TLC videos.
And who would you say are your most musical influences?
My biggest influence is Michael Jackson, Tupac, Lauryn Hill, and Stevie Wonder.
What artists would you do a song with?
You mean like artists that's out right now or older artists?
Any artist.
I'm really digging an independent artist from Oakland, California named Kaylani. She's a vocalist, and she was on America's Got Talent with a band called Pop Life, but she makes a lot of really good R&B pop music right now that's like positive and uplifting, so I would really like to do a song with her.
If you wasn't rapping, would you still want to sing and dance?
If I wasn't rapping, I would just be dancing or making music. Like I do music production as well, so I'd probably be making beats and dancing.
How did you get into making music?
I got into making music when I was around like 8 or 9 years old, and I would hear songs on the radio, and I kind of would be like concerned about how they were made. I didn't know at that point, and so my mom bought me a keyboard for my 10th birthday, and then I started to like recreate the sounds and put arrangements together, and then I just was doing that like constantly every day when I came home from school, and so that's kind of how I just like got into it. And rather than it just be a hobby, I ended up going to school for it as well and working with other people, so I wanted to make it like my career.
What other instruments do you play?
Yeah, I play a little bit of keys, guitar, and drums.
So you performed at the Cherry Blossom Parade and the Thanksgiving Parade. How did you get chosen to do that?
I got chosen to perform at the Cherry Blossom Parade and the Thanksgiving Day Parade through my school. I went to high school at Creative and Performing Arts High School, Philadelphia, and they kind of do like an audition process where they cast the best fit for the role. And so, Disney and Boscov's and the people that put together those parades, they asked the people that work at the school if they had people in mind. And then I went and auditioned, and, I did a good job, so they picked me.
Do you think there are problems being an independent label that you wouldn't see if you was signed with Grand Hustle or Young Money?
I wouldn't necessarily say that being an independent artist has more problems. I think it has more learning opportunities for an artist to get in on the business side of things. So whereas a label would have people like A&R representatives and artist development teams to cultivate the talent, the artist can just use their creativity and what they want to talk about to make connections and network with people the way they want to, the way they see fit for them. So there are some perks to being signed to a label, like having bonus checks and having a budget, but you don't really learn how those things work if you're not involved in it, and that's kind of where you get the upper hand as an independent artist, is to really just be hands-on in every aspect of your career. So I wouldn't say it's more problems. I'll just say you have to be a little more resilient and a little more patient, because it's not that quick, thing that people want to get when they want to get signed. So
if T.I. came to you tomorrow and wanted to sign you, would you go with him?
I honestly have no idea. If the deal was right, no telling what would happen. But it definitely has to be a working situation for the both of us. Like I don't want to just be a puppet, but I also understand that working with somebody like a T.I. who's so experienced and has so much like weight in the game, how that could benefit me as a newcomer.
Have you searched up any labels?
Yeah, I'm constantly researching everything about record labels. And here lately there have been a lot of independent labels that have been making it to the mainstream, radio and on television. And I'm learning a lot. Some examples are Macklemore and Top Dog Entertainment, TDE, Young Money, of course, and even like independent labels like Funk Volume and stuff like that, Odd Future. Yeah, I do research on them a lot. That's how you stay relevant and keep it fresh and make sure that you're keeping up with the times.
How was your song Bon Bon treated?
I actually created that song. I was in Philly. That's where I'm from. But I had spent maybe like 3 or 4 months in New York performing and doing a tour, a high school tour. And all of my friends are from like Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago, and like they're Caribbean. And I was like heavily influenced it. And I kind of just wanted to pay tribute and homage to them, you know, because I really like reggae music. I really like soca music. And I just kind of took like a very popular Sister Nancy song, Bomb, and we used the sample. It's produced by Shocker G. And I wrote to it and kind of just went in the studio and recorded it and shot a video for it.
What do you have to contribute to the game of hip hop?
I think my biggest asset to the game would be optimism, number one, because I think a lot of hip hop it could be really aggressive, it could be really competitive, but there's a whole like group of people that don't necessarily come from that gangster rap era, or that don't necessarily come from the streets and stay in the streets and want to be around like, you know, violence and guns and all stuff like that. I have a very like objective approach to it, because even though I was around it and I felt for the people that, you know, were around a lot of drugs and were around a lot of poverty, I always want to uplift them and empower them to make better of their situation. So I think my rapping is kind of like that option for people that want to have something positive, you know. And even though it may not just be like, you know, it's not gospel rap, or it's not necessarily conscious rap, it's just everyday people music that people from all walks of life can listen to, whether you're from the slums, whether you live, you know, in the suburbs, or if you got money, if you don't have money, you know, a lot of people can find something to relate to in my music. And I think that's what I'll bring that's different than, you know, a lot of the mainstream artists that's out right now.
How does it feel knowing that so many young girls that want to become rappers or singers or dancers look up to you?
Honestly, it's still kind of a surreal type of feeling, because I never considered myself to be like famous or any different than the people that I'm performing for or trying to talk to in my music. I kind of just want to be, you know, right there with them. And so when people say that they look up to me, it's always a shock. It's always a shock factor, because like I'm just being me, like I'm just being a, you know, my regular silly self, and performing is something that I've always done. And I didn't realize until, you know, maybe like a couple of years ago that my words were so powerful. And so it's a very humbling experience for me to be someone else's role model, considering my role models that I have, you know, are like amazing legends in the music industry. And so I'm just glad that people, you know, get it. And I'm glad that young girls have alternatives to your everyday provocative, you know, flashy, gaudy artist. That's not me at all. I'm real chill. I'm real like, you know, down to earth. I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you. So I'm glad that they appreciate that.
Thank you, Joie, for being here. My name is Kiana, and stay tuned for more Hip Hop Live.
So my tears fell silent, smiled on the outside, but inside I was dying. Struggled to accept that every day that I was lying to my mother and my friends and the people I relied on.
Hey everybody, I'm Joie Kathos, and you're watching Hip Hop Live.